Yes, yes. What is God? Is your God good? Or God is good? Yes. Yes. If put up your hands if you're feeling that. Yes. Yes. God is good. Love is good. Your highest good is good. Maybe that's better said or better stated for some of you. We know that we're also very different here. And so we have to recognize all of these intricacies and these complexities. But yes, God is good, love is good. And I would like everybody to center that part of you that knows what is true. That part of you that connects to God, or maybe it is love. Connect to it now. Connect to it. Take a breath, breathing in. And so as we further connect into that goodness, that God goodness, that love, that place, that essence, that core, yes. Remember, we are going to possibly traverse some treacherous terrain tonight. And so we reconnect. We reconnect to the goodness that is God. It's very important to do this before we do anything else, my friends. Before we do anything else, we have been in the vision statement. This is the 27th sermon, of the vision statement series. We started with that very first line, the revolution of love. What is it? A global ministry and a global movement of renewal and outreach dedicated to healing, transformation, and action. And we've gone line by line by line. And last time we were all convened here together, we went over no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, no matter who you love. We stopped there. Went over 19 isms. We talked about systemic oppression, systematic oppression, be it through adultism, through ageism, or through racism. We broke a lot of this down, and we invited you to take 2 isms. And we know that not everybody got to do that. We also know that people are exhausted. We're coming up on the end of the year, and a lot of things are vying for your attention. So let us make a declaration that we will get this done before the year's end. Yes? Can I see some thumbs up? It will even take just maybe one of those 19. It's the least we can do. It's the least we can do. Yes? We must continue to educate ourselves about these different forms of oppression, of hatred, of violence, especially after this week that we just saw in this country alone. So it's kind of an interesting thing, isn't it? When we say no matter who you are, what you look like, where you come from, who you love, and we follow it with, we welcome you. We love you. That's a very big net, isn't it? That's a very big net to cast out. And it could give a lot of, not even wiggle room, but just almost an open door policy to tolerate hatred or violence, or the very isms that were talked about last service. But that's not what we're doing here. In fact, the reason we went into those nooks and crannies was to meet this line of the vision statement. It's almost the last line. We're almost done. It's to meet this, we welcome you and we love you, from a place of understanding and wisdom. Left brain and right brain. I'm actually speaking in Kabbalistic terms right now. If you're not familiar, do not worry about it. In order to be in integrity with God, love, highest good, in order for us to be in integrity with each other here at Roll, to be, and I want to use a word tonight with you, covenant, a sacred agreement, a mutual sacred promise. In order for us to be in a holy covenant with each other, my friends, we have to remember the complexities. And we have to remember that there were 26 sermons before this one. I'm going to flush all this out. And so, when we say we welcome you and we love you, we are not merely going, come on in, come on in, and sit down with all your hatred and your violence and your oppression, or your bias, or your prejudice, or your discrimination. That is not what we are saying here. Does everybody know that? Does everyone know that? Yes? I pray you do. We recognize to be in covenant, to be in holy covenant, and to be in this place of promise, that we need some upper level understanding and wisdom. And we need the divine. There, I said it. God, I ask your presence, your spirit to descend upon this time right now, and upon our hearts and our minds and our bodies, left brain, right brain, whatever, that you may open us up to a deeper understanding and a deeper wisdom of not only who you are, but how we are supposed to be, how we are supposed to be alive, how we are supposed to be alive in such a complex time, in such a challenging time. God, we beseech you, and we know that you are, and you must be at the center. That with you, all things are possible. We welcome you and we love you. Are we supposed to welcome? Are we supposed to love everyone? And if we are, how? If we are, how do we do that? So the revolution of love, we know that here we have discussed at great length, ad nauseum, that this is not your ordinary love. Oh no, this is nuanced. This is highly it's filled and fettered with discernment. See, this is the good stuff. See, it's not solely about, my friends, please feel this, some kind of unconditional love here. It's even better than that, because it's overlaid with boundaries, and sometimes a hard compromise, and then sometimes not as much. See, this is where we really have to beseech the divine. Call God to the floor. God, help us. Help us use our understanding and our wisdom in a high heart way, in alignment with you. We welcome you and we love you. I'm going to say the, like if we were skipping ahead to the end of a film, I'm going to say this right now to sort of make sure this makes sense. Are we supposed to welcome and love everyone? Yes. And. Yes, and. We do that from a higher place. So we can be in this world and we can, yes, welcome and love everybody from the highest place. Asking, as I prayed to God, asking God for help in that. And if we see, hear, witness, are privy to some form of violence, recognizing that violence is not solely physical, that it is in the systems, that is in the structures, that it is in policy, that it is in emotional people's psychology, that it is in their energy. You can feel people energetically, can't you? You can. And to feel that that violence, if we see that, we are not to accommodate it. We are not to avoid it. We are not to use violence to meet it. And we can extricate from it. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted just saying all that. Kidding aside, this is how heavily nuanced this is. And do you see, this is the thing. This is the thing, okay? We throw these like tropes around of, we just got to love everybody, you know, we're going to love everyone. And without contextualizing that, without remembering covenant, without remembering courage. I just said 3 C's: covenant, context. I had to go back, and courage. We do ourselves and others a major, mega disservice. And we even run risk of replicating forms of oppression as talked about 2 weeks ago. And the definition of violence that I just went over. We run risk of that. There's a reason we welcome you and we love you is towards the end of this vision statement. Because as Manny's word is integration, and I had to smile, it takes integration. It takes covenant and being in a place of holy agreement and integrity. Another way would be to say integrity. And it takes contextualizing. And it takes courage to meet this statement of we welcome you and we love you. And remember, this vision statement, yes, we're explaining what role is about, but this is in our daily lives, correct? I know that some of you, you're meeting this in your daily lives. So this is just the micro of the macro. I want to say one more thing about context, and then we're going to move to the chunk. Remember the line in this vision statement. This is line 9. We do not enable, cosign, or align with any system, structure, or policy of hatred, oppression, or violence. All of these lines, there's all method, there's all reason, So when we say we welcome you and we love you, we mean it. And we also can point back to any one of the lines preceding, saying, yes, we embrace you. We celebrate you. This is a brave space. We are committed to our highest good. And we do not enable or co-sign or align with any form of hatred or oppression or violence. It's all building and building and building up to this moment of saying, we welcome you, we love you, and we do charge you to do better if we see some form of bias or some form of hatred leaking out, or maybe directly being committed. We will say, we demand that all of us here do better. And you know why? Because we believe we can. We believe we can. Because we must. It's not about hope or even really believing. And it's about going, we have to do this. There is no choice. Enough people have died. So we are committing. Yes, like that. Enough people have died. Enough children have been put in cages. Enough children have died. And I'm talking across the board here. We do talk a lot about racial equity and racial justice. I am now expanding this out to anyone in a marginalized community that is under threat and attack. It's enough. So how do we welcome and love people that are stuck, that are swimming in the unconscious, in the abyss, and furthermore, disconnected from their imago Dei? How many people find that heartbreaking when you witness it? When you see that fragmentation and that disconnect from the imago Dei? You can come off mute. How many people find that heartbreaking?
Incredibly. And especially when that person is me. But I'm back. But I'm back now.
Whose voice was that?
Oh, that was Gus. Gustavo.
Gustavo. So glad you're back. So glad you're back.
Thank you.
And others. I heard some other voices.
You heard me.
I think I heard Melanie.
You did.
Yeah,
it happened to me earlier today. It was hard. Very hard and heartbreaking.
So what I'm hearing, thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Melanie. And thank you, Gus. Is there someone else a third person, a third voice before I say anything? Okay. So it's interesting because I'm hearing people actually go right into self-reflection, going right and posing that question and looking at themselves. That's very interesting. I didn't expect that. Bless you for your self-honesty and for your integrity and your appraisal in this way. My friends, we talk a lot about the inner work here. I'm just going to fall into prayer just for a moment. And then we'll circle into something. I'm just going to ask for a balm of Gilead, a healing balm, to rain down upon this time, to continue to, affirming that it is happening now. Some healing for people's hearts and minds. Also for any shame or any blame to slowly maybe be pushed aside, recognizing that sometimes that shame and blame actually serves a purpose. Sometimes we feel too naked without it because we've lived with it for so long. And so, God, if it be your will, Spirit, if it be your will, Source, if it be your will, just allow a little bit of that removal of any shame or blame to make way for your light and your love to go into those deep cavernous parts of ourselves and shine bright, shine bright, shine bright. So it is, and so it is. And coming into this place of welcoming and loving now, I want each person here to feel very, very welcomed and very loved. And knowing that the words spoken before, the charge of extricating from any form of violence, that this is our charge, this is our challenge, this is our work to do in the world, especially once again after this week that we just experienced, where we witnessed different forms of violence. And it is also important to remember to welcome and love yourself. And that I did not know I would say. I want all of us tonight to remember the love that has not forgotten you, that there is something that is beyond thoughts and words, that there is something ineffable. Some call it God or Jesus or Allah. That there is that looking out for us. Some people say within us. Maybe driving us. For me, I feel driven by it. Working through us. Loving us. And when we tap into that, and we use that upper level understanding, the word in Hebrew is bina. Bina. In fact, you can even touch your left brain to activate it. Ooh, now we're getting really woo-woo. Bina. And then the other word for understanding is hokmah. So, pardon me, understanding and wisdom. Wisdom, Bina and hokmah. When we activate all of these things, my friends, we become better receptacles to the love that is seeking us, to the love that is seeking you. And we know how to welcome and we know how to love. I was going to give you this whole teaching tonight, and maybe I will another time, on The Two Hands of Nonviolence by Barbara Deming. You can look it up. I'm not going to do it now. I was going to go through the ways that we meet violence oftentimes: accommodation, avoidance, counterviolence, all in the way of a counterpoint to welcoming and loving. But I think we need to remember that there are mystical places, and there are places that only you will go and only we can go, where theory and strategy, maybe even, and all of the good philosophy don't reside. That there is what I'm speaking to is that there is a part of us that knows what is just, that knows truth and justice, and knows how to welcome and how to love. And when we need to go, when we need to stay in a place of uncomfortability with an individual we think might have a change of heart or a change of mind, this is the part in all of us that already exists. I don't believe we need to be taught that. It's the part of us that we were born with. It's the part of us that remains, however occluded it might be from traumas or wounds. It's there. You know. You know. And so in closing, we welcome you, we love you. The place of understanding, the highest understanding, the place of wisdom, the highest wisdom, and the place of the divine, the divine. We beseech you. We know that this core, this essence is within us. And this awareness of how to proceed is already there. God, a special blessing upon each and every person, whatever they are maybe not quite understanding yet, or what is coming online discreetly or boldly, that they may receive it, and that they know that they already know. And so it is. So it is. Manny, please, the song.
And just a quick thing, I would also like to, and thank you, Reverend, just thank you for that message. As we receive this message and listen